Okay, let me drop this message real quick. I wanted to say this because I know last year I did a couple of D free classes, both at our church and some other churches, and so there are some of you that are on my page. We taught you about the different things you needed to put in place. We talked about everything, all things financial from a D free beginning standpoint. One of those things was making sure that you weren't spending every dime that you made and having those emergency funds, etc. Here's what I wanted to talk about today. I heard something that I thought really bared repeating, and when I heard it, I said that's a great way of being able to articulate that you really do need to take seriously your savings, your emergency funds, etc. Because everyone should have what I call a shoestring budget. I forgot, she called it something else. I can't remember what she called it, but I call it a shoestring budget. All that means is, let's say you lose an income, and I'm thinking about all the individuals that work for the government right now. If you lose an income, then what is that bare bones budget that you need to be operating from? You can't continue to live the way you've been living the last 6 months or a year, or whatever, when you lose an income. And that shoestring budget will say, okay, this has to go, that has to go. Ladies, we start looking at things like hair and nails, and maybe not getting rid of it totally. I'm not saying get rid of it totally, but instead of going twice a month for your nails, you go once, and those type of things. Everyone should create a shoestring budget so that when something happens, especially when things happen out of your control or at the instant that they happen, some things happen on a Friday with a pink slip. So on Monday morning, you need to kick in the shoestring budget. That means everything that has to go will go. And everyone should have that. Now, there's another budget I want to talk about. I call it the living the maximum life. Living the maximum life. Why do I call it that? That's that budget that you pretty much are spending everything. You're spending every dime that comes in. No one should be living off their maximum budget. They shouldn't be living off their, I think she called it best life budget. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, you should not be spending every dime that you make. So I know I have a lot of accounts because when income comes in, 10% goes here, 10% goes there, 10%, and you have to put those type of systems in place, guys, for exactly the moment that we're experiencing and seeing some of us right now. And I just thought this was just an incredible teachable moment because this shutdown, if people don't have emergency funds, if they are paycheck to paycheck, and here's what I have to say about the whole paycheck to paycheck. Some people will say that they don't have a choice. I think you do. You can't prove to me that you can't, because when I teach financial integrity and financial literacy, it's for any level. I just taught a 4-week class to some Cambodian women who their income average is $300 a month, and some less than that. These principles work at no matter what level and how much money you make. It doesn't matter. So yes, you have to have financial integrity and financial responsibility. Exactly what individuals are experiencing right now. They had no idea this shutdown was going to go as long as it did. If they don't have an emergency fund, if they don't have if they don't transition to their shoestring budget, they're in a severe crisis right now. They're in a severe crisis right now. And I'm very passionate about it because I've been guilty of it. And that is not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling, especially for women. And I'm speaking to my women, men, because what you have to understand, for a woman, she needs security. She needs to know that the roof over her head is not suspect. Okay, that brings on a lot of stress for her. As the provider, you're the one that's responsible for making sure that there's a roof over that family's head. And I'm probably going to get some backlash on that, but whatever. I believe in operating the way the word says. My husband is the provider. He is the head of the household. It doesn't matter how much money I make. All right. He is to provide. And that's something I had to get straight because God straightened me out on that one. All right. So you can't argue with me on that because it brings disorder to the home when it's the other way around. So with that being said, I want to encourage those right now that are going through the shutdown to switch over to what I call your shoestring budget. And I hope and pray that you have an emergency fund. If you don't, God will sustain you. But when he brings you out of this, that needs to be a priority. Go over your finances and begin to start transferring funds into an emergency fund starting immediately. But I just wanted to leave that message. God bless you guys. Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.